Sri Lanka Tragedy, Spin, and Hypocrisy, SJG Perspective. If I had time to do so, I would put out many more videos, perhaps a few a day, but my style usually involves a lot of research, multiple sources, a lot of editing, a lot of video clips, and so on. Also, I do this for free, which means that I have to actually work in addition to this, and I put in many hours of work on just my channel. Tabby and I, we have a small business, and we have to do that kind of work, to get by. I wanted to do a video about the recent Sri Lanka terrorism, but I haven't had the time. Then I watched a video by SJG Perspective, a channel that I recommend, by the way, see the link below to that channel, and I figured I'd kill two birds with one stone. I could include this issue on my channel, even though I really don't have time to go researching it or putting together a complex video, and I could promote SJG Perspective's channel at the same time. I more or less agree with SJG on this issue, which is a rare thing because I usually don't agree. I mean, even with Tabitha, she and I, we disagree with each other, but on some things, on most things we agree. But it's rare that I agree with, almost everything with anybody. Enough for me, here's SJG.
And boom. All right. So what we're going to do as we normally do, we're just going to jump in here and read a few articles and throw some thoughts out on them as I go. Most of these are pretty much cold articles. I just kind of, I saw the headlines a little bit and I thought maybe scanned them a little bit and thought, that might be something worth talking about. So that's what we're going to do. So the Washington Post puts focus on far-right anger in wake of Sri Lanka church bombing. Sri Lanka. I always get a little messed up. I put the channel, wait a second, I put it on my channel as a song with imagery from meme. Oh, really? Well, then let's, I'm going to go check that out there. We're going to, can we play it here? Let me do this. Open, I wonder if I can open your channel. I'm going to open your channel here in a minute, and I want to go over that. So let me read this article, and then we'll go over and we'll take. I want to take a look at that. So play it. We'll play it. Anyways, Washington Post puts focus on far right anger in wake of Sri Lanka church bombing. Sri Lanka, man, I don't know what it is with me. On Monday, the Washington Post published an analysis article questioning if Christianity is under attack. In the wake of the bombings of multiple churches on Easter in Sri Lanka, the authors also shifted the focus from the close to 300, it's over to 310 now, last time I checked, 310 victims of what the Sri Lanka government believes is Islamic terrorism to Western far-right anger. So now they're fine. This is one article. Of course, it is The Blaze, but this is one article that they are finally calling it Islamic terrorism. All the other ones for the longest amount of time when you were reading these articles, they couldn't. One of the bombers in one of the hotel lobby rooms was Mohammed was his name. And there was several other Islamic people when the reports first started coming out. I was reading some articles with very, Islamic-sounding Muslim names, right? But they were not calling it. They were making sure to stay away from it. And up to this point, they have just tiptoed around coming out and calling it Islamic terror, man. They were trying to insinuate for a long time that it was the Buddhists and the Tamil. I think you pronounce it Tamil, but Tamil. Which is a long-standing feud in Sri Lanka between the Buddhists and this other religious organization or group there. And they were trying to, for a while there, insinuate, well, maybe it was a Buddhist. We can't jump to the fact that it was possibly Islamic terrorists. It could have been the Buddhists that did this too. And they have just tiptoed around it all day long. Every article was tiptoeing around it, was not coming out and giving any kind of details on the names of the terrorists or anything. It was, and then I'm sure, and we're going to read another article, but I'll just touch on it. And then, everyone, it's not news, but everyone's heard about how Hillary Clinton and Obama and several other people on the left referred to the incident as the Easter worshipers, right? Though all these bombings that happened during the Easter worshipers, it's like they couldn't come out and say these terrible bombings that murdered 300 plus people, mostly Christians, right? They couldn't come out and say the C word, right? And by the C word, I don't mean it in the Australian sense, if you know what I mean, the see you next Tuesday. I'm talking about the actual Christian word, because that is not something we want to bring any kind of attention to, that there is the Christianity and people that are Christian, more so socially speaking, just in social circles and in our client or our climate today. I mean, being a Christian is kind of like, or saying you're a Christian, is kind of like saying you have leprosy in a lot of ways, and they're looked upon very grossly and bad, and Christians are just these evil, anti-gay, terrible, pro-choice deniers, a-holes, so on and so forth. And believe me, I am a Christian, and I come from a Christian background, and I get some of how Christianity has gotten a bad name in a lot of ways. I understand that I have my own issues with people who call themselves Christians, and some of the religiosity and so on and so forth that goes along with the name Christians. But in this scenario, they tap danced around that bad turd sitting on the floor as best they could, because they did not want to in any way, shape, or form align themselves with or give any kind of credit to, not align themselves, but give any kind of credit to the fact that Christians were murdered by Islamic terrorists. Now, I know it's not official yet, right? I don't think they've officially said it was Islamic terrorists, but we can fill in the dots, right? We can fill in the dots on this one. It was Islamic terrorism. And they are going to try to, when they finally have to face that fact, I guarantee you that it's going to be blurps, it's going to be quick, it's going to be moving along, and let's switch the narrative. Let's switch the narrative, much like this article. So I got off track, but let's keep reading. So the post-analysis cites statements from French politician Marie Le Pen, Germany's AfD party Katie Hopkins, and former Reagan administration official Frank Gaffney as proof that the far right was using the attacks to further a political agenda. The authors write that the theme of Christianity under attack has been a recurring one for many activists in the United States and Europe. They compared the response to the Sri Lanka tragedy to the Notre Dame Cathedral fire, which is kind of interesting timing on that one too, which I know that one has, that's conspiracy road to say that was Islamic terrorism, right? But the facts aren't out. I don't know if we'll ever get the facts on that one, but it's kind of interesting timing. The Sri Lanka tragedy and the Notre Dame Cathedral fire, and how some conservatives mentioned the rise in attacks on French churches in recent years. The rise in those attacks was downplayed by calling them vandalism and remarking that the vast majority of acts were minor. The post links to the French newspaper Liberation to support its claim, yet the linked article states that 100 of the acts against Christian churches and burial grounds were violent. Also ignored were the reoccurring attacks by Islamic militants against Christian churches during Holy Weeks in recent years. As PJ Media's Patrick Poole noted on Twitter, there have been 5 major attacks on Christian houses of worship during the Holy Week, including Sunday's horrific coordinated attack in Sri Lanka. And then here's Patrick Poole's tweet. It says, 2012, Easter Day bombing, Nigeria, 39 killed. 2015, Mandi, Thursday attack, Garissa University, Kenya, 147 killed. Easter Day bombing, Lahore, Pakistan, 75 killed, including 29 children. 2017, Palm Sunday church bombing in Egypt, 47 killed. And he did this on a retweet to the Washington Post. Analyst, Sri Lanka church bombings stoke far-right angers in the West. Nearly 300 people, it's over 310 now, were murdered because of their faith. They were killed on the holiest day of Christianity, when billions of Christians celebrate the resurrection of Jesus Christ, who they believe died for the sins 3 days earlier. Rather than focusing on these victims, the media has decided to focus instead on all those who call out the violence done against them. It's more important for the media to keep pushing the left's agenda than it is to look to the actual facts surrounding violence against Christians. And I know a lot of people, I've seen some tweets and some little quick articles saying how we care more about this than we did about what happened in New Zealand. What happened in New Zealand was horrendous. I accidentally, I wasn't even searching for it today. I went on kind of a YouTube type site. It's like 159 News or something. And it's pretty much a straight up hardcore like conspiracy website. Which, you know, everyone who knows me knows I like my conspiracies. But I stumbled across a video that was trying to debunk, or this one guy on there debunking, saying that the New Zealand shootings were hoaxed, which I don't believe at all is true. One of the videos was kind of compelling, where it's like there was a magazine in the hallway that apparently this was already there before the guy came in. But I was watching it, and I think it probably just fell out and the guy picked it up. But anyways, I digress. I saw some clips for the first time ever, and I don't think I want to watch any more, of actually when the dude went into the mosque and started shooting people. And it was so horrendous, and it was so terrible, and it was just gross. It was just freaking gross. So I think that kind of far right, the true white supremacist, you know, anger and hatred and total sickening, disgusting racism of that guy to go in there and do what he did is abhorrent, is disgusting, is just, but it's just as, I mean, but what happened to the Christians shouldn't be downplayed either. I mean, this was just thoroughly disgusting too. I saw images of some of these bombings where literally people were blown in two, and it's just like, I don't get it, man. But the left, that's the thing, man. They, when it comes to anything to do with, Christians, it gets downplayed. That's kind of the point in reading this article. But I got some other articles I want to touch on that, but I'm kind of interested real quickly. So that's all I have to say about that.
Alright folks, I hope you enjoyed this. If so, see the link below to SJG Perspectives channel, subscribe, also subscribe to us on BitChute because our days on YouTube are numbered. See the link below. Thanks for watching.